Hi folks, today we'll be making a beautiful bow using a tool called ProBowtheHand. I know that several people have expressed interest in learning how to use it. Although there are other tutorials on this, there are still people who are looking for a really basic tutorial on how to use this bow maker and get a practically perfect bow. I'm going to start with a basic one ribbon bow. I plan to have other videos showing how to use 2 ribbons, 3 ribbons, however many ribbons you want to use to make huge tree topper bows. These bows can be used on wreaths. They can be used on top of lanterns. You might even use it on a gift. So let's get started and see what we can do with this. Thank you. I'm using the bow maker called ProBowtheHand. I don't know if you can read it or not. ProBowtheHand, www.ProBowtheHand.com. if you'd like to buy one. I don't remember how much it was, but it was not very expensive. It is a wonderful tool for making bows. I don't know how many of you have made bows by hand, but this tool, once you learn to use it, it's invaluable. The bows turn out basically perfect to me. More perfect than when I make them just using my hands. So this is like a hand. That's why it's called ProBowtheHand. This is like your thumb, and these holes hold pegs. There are different rows, the smaller pegs, and so forth, and those are called the finger pegs. So it comes with a sack of these pegs, and you can decide how big you want your bow to be. This will be the center of your bow, and if you want a small bow, you'll use the small pegs that go in line A. If you want it bigger, you'll use this row, line B. I know it's not a straight line. I taught math. It is a curved line, but anyway, this is C, D, and E, and you have the same number of pegs in each row. Now, I'll just have to show it to you for you to understand. But this is what we're going to attempt to make. This is it. This is not fluffed yet, though, as you can tell. But it's already pretty. And then when you finish making this, then you fluff it. I'm only going to make a 1 ribbon bow for part 1. Then I will do a part 2 later in a different video, and we'll do 2 ribbons. You can make a 3 ribbon. You can make a however many you want 2 ribbon bow. Another thing is that comes with ProBowtheHand is this is your ribbon holder. You put this one has 3 pegs. I don't know why I put a short one there. It doesn't really matter. But this holds your spools of ribbon. So let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and put this on. I want to tell you though, there is a certain way to put it on. I could put it here, but I found that when I'm only using one, it worked out better if I put it on the second one. But you want it to roll off so that when the spool turns, it turns clockwise. You want it to be coming that direction. If you don't want to make 2, you'll put another one here. If you want to make 3, and you can order as many of these as you want. I ordered another one, and so I can easily make 6 ribbon. I can make a 12 ribbon. I can put, it's just unlimited what you can do, but we'll get into that later. Let's just stick with the basics right now. Okay, I want to make a bow in which the loops are around 6 inches. So I'm measuring from this thumb, I call it the thumb, out to row B. And that's about 6 inches here. But as you go along, they get a little bit smaller, as in any bow that you make by hand. I always made one row a certain, each loop was a certain length, and then I made the next one bigger and the next one bigger. Now, this is going to be on here like this when we get finished. So just think about it. This is the top of the bow. You can see this is the top of the bow. It will face out away from you, the top of the bow will. Of course, then we have some loops on the right hand side and some loops on the left. And I dropped a peg. Excuse me 1 second. So I'm going to use this row. So I just put my pegs in. These are like fingers. And I don't necessarily like to put a center loop in my bows. Even when I made them by hand, I didn't really care for the center loop. Sometimes I do. So I'm leaving the center peg out. So here's what I have. This is what I have. My lighting is terrible, I'm sorry. But this is what I have so far. Now, I also need to quit dropping these things. But anyway, I also will need some wire. And I just buy these packages. This is 18 gauge. I really would prefer a little smaller, probably a 20, 22 gauge. But it's okay, it works. So, let me show you how we get started. I'm going to take my ribbon. I'm going to do a sort of just a basic tutorial. We won't get into anything fancy. You can do some really fancy things with this. We might do some tutorials later. So the very first thing I want to do is this is my thumb. This is where I want to, everything's going to meet. This is a loop, a loop, a loop, a loop. I'm going to have 6 loops on each side of my bow, just like this. I have 6 loops on each side. This will be, when I get finished, it'll be something like this, lying down flat on the board. So let's say I want to make just a short, I'll make my streamer, my tail, about that long. Now, the first thing you want to do is scrunch after you measure off how much you want for your tail. If you don't want any streamer hanging down, you could even cut it here. But I like a little streamer hanging down. So we need to anchor this onto the thumb. So here's what I'm going to do. First of all, I'm going to find the middle. That's about the middle. Doesn't have to be exact. And here's what I'm doing. I hope you can see this. I'm just taking this wire. I'm coming down with that one. And I'm going to come up with this one. So I just wrapped it like one time around the little scrunched place. And I just wrapped it so that we can put it on to the thumb. We have to attach it somewhere. We're going to attach it on the thumb. And guess what? I want my good side, or if you're a seamstress, you know we call that maybe the right side. I want that to face the front. Like this. You see how everything is facing this. I want all my, here's one of my tails. I want everything facing that direction. So, that's what I've got right here. I've got it facing. If I were there, I would be able to see the dots. Now I need to anchor this to the thumb, so I'm going to twist this. I put this in the scrunched part in the middle, and I leave just a little bit of that hanging out so that when I get finished, I have something to hang on to. Then I will attach it. There is a nail. I don't know if you can see that nail. and you attach the other end of that wire one time is all you need. Wrap it around, stick it under so it won't be in our way. Okay, that's out of the way. I've got the tail and I'm ready to make a loop. So what I do is I bring this up to this peg right here, the one that's next to the middle peg, which I didn't put a middle peg in. So now I've made a loop. It's facing upward, isn't it? If I were over here, I could see it. The next thing to do is scrunch. Now, if you don't know how to scrunch, well, you'll just have to practice. You just sort of pinch it together, and you want this scrunch to go on top of this other scrunch. So I've got it on top of the scrunch. I want it to stay there, though. I want all my scrunched parts to be about in the middle from top to bottom of this peg. Here's what I'm going to do next. Now this, I guess Regina came up with this. Someone came up with this after the first tutorial I ever saw on this. But what this is going to be is like an extra hand for you. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to put it under this loop I just made. See that? I went under the loop, and now I'm going to, right at the scrunch place, I'm going to go up and I'm going to go down, sort of like I did when I first started. So I went up and down just to hold it in place. Now I'm going to take this tail and just get it out of the way. Just push it up there. It's not in my way now. I hope you all can still see the whole board. Okay, now look what's going to happen if I make a loop right here. Guess what? That side will show, not the pretty side would show. What am I going to do? Well, I'm going to twist my ribbon. If you make bows by hand, you're used to twisting. Now, Regina always says this, and it's a really good thing to remember. She says bottoms up. Okay, but here's one extra thing I would like to say that helped me, because I came from knowing nothing about this and being totally confused, and I watched her tutorials, or all kinds of tutorials, but maybe I'm a little dense, but it helped me to think of it this way. I made one loop over here. My next loop is going to be here. Next one here, next one here. And we go back and forth. So I'm ready to go on this side, but the right side's not showing. So I'm going to take the bottom edge of the ribbon, and I'm going to swish it up to the top. And when I made my swishing motion, I was going toward this side, because this is the side I'm working on right now. So I take my ribbon and ta-da! The right side is showing. If I had not twisted it, it wouldn't be showing. Now, here's another thing that I found to be true. The next time I squish, which is right now, I'm ready to scrunch, or whatever you want to call it. Okay. I want to do the bottoms up. Okay, do I want to do, which way should I do the bottoms up? This way or that way? I want to always swish it upward toward the side you're working on. I'm working on this side. I want to swish it up here. Ta-da! Again, we have the right side. And I'll tell you in a minute why it's important to swish toward the side you're working on. Now I'm ready to swish again, and I do want you to remember that you always keep all your swishes, all your scrunchies on top of each other, and they should be about in the middle from top to bottom of this middle peg. Now here's where my helper comes in. This is my helper wire. I'm going to just take it and take the top part, go down, take the bottom end and go up. just to hold it. That's what it is. It's just a helper. Look, I can go eat lunch. I can drink coffee. I can do whatever I want to because I have my helper hand. If I didn't have that helper hand and I let go of it, who knows what would happen. So, I'm ready for bottoms up. I'm just going to be doing bottoms up the rest of this until I get to the very end. But I want to be sure and go the right way. I want this bottom to go swoosh upwards toward here. I want to go this way. And then I go up here and make my loop. It really does get easy. I'm just really trying to go slow to give you some pointers. Again, I'm ready to pinch, scrunch, whatever you want to call it. I put it on top of my other scrunches. And maybe I am ready for another helper. So I'm going to go up and down. Just to hold it in case I want to go do something or just to be sure. The main thing is to be sure they're all on top of each other. I don't want one up here and one down here and one in the middle. I want them all on top of each other in the middle. Now I'm ready for bottoms up. Couldn't be easier. I'm going to take my bottom edge, sweep it toward the side I'm working on, and go around the peg. I've already got 3 loops here and 2 here. We want, the same on each side, of course. I'm planning on us getting 6. We're just ready to scrunch. Oh, yes. This gets easier and easier the more you use it. Which way am I going to swish? I'm going to swish it bottom up to the top, swishing it up toward the side. And I haven't really told you why I do that, but I'm going to tell you. Let me use my helping hand here. I love this helper. And sometimes I go ahead and squeeze it a little bit, make it tight. Now here's why it helps to swoosh in the right direction. Look at my ribbon. It's not all wrapped around itself. It does have one little loop here. But if you don't do it this way, you'll end up with your ribbon all wound up. So this is just the way I swoosh it upwards toward, I'm going to swoosh it upward toward this side and come around, is so that my ribbon, look at it, it's not a bother at all. It didn't get all messed up. So I'm ready to pinch or scrunch, squeeze it, whatever. And I have to do bottoms up. Guess which way I need to go? I'm going to go bottom, here's the bottom, up toward, I went up toward this direction. And like I said, the reason for that, you can make it going bottoms up the other direction, but your ribbon will end up getting all wrapped around itself. I think I'll use my helping hand again here, just to give me a little security. And look how nice, see, that is staying, not on the bottom, not on the top. It's staying more toward the middle. That's where we want it. Here's my helping hand. I still have my first wire I wrapped and put around the nail. So I'm ready to swoosh. I call it swoosh. Bottoms up, but I swoosh it to this side because that's the side I'm working on. Look at this. We're going to be done in a few minutes. Again, I just pinch. If I want to, I can go ahead and use my helping hand. I don't use it on every single. You can even twist it if you want to hold it a little tighter. I'm ready for bottoms up, so I go to the bottom here. I go up toward this side, because this is the side I'm working on. I'm ready to pinch. I'm going to swish, I'm going to take the bottom and swish it up to the top in the direction of the peg that I'm working on. Look at this. We are almost finished. I'll pinch again. I think I'll go ahead and use my helper and hold this for me. Let it hold it. And like I said, you can even twist it if you want to. Usually just wrapping it down and up is enough. But I'm ready to, bottoms up, I'm going to swish that direction. I'm going to take the bottom and swoosh it upwards. And there we go. And look at my ribbon. It's not all tangled. It's not rolling up. It's just like it's supposed to be. So I'm going to do one more pinch. I'm going to do one more bottoms up. I think I'll go ahead and use my helper. Now I'm at the end, so I want, this is going to be the tail that hangs down from the bow, and I'm going to go about out to here because that's where I went. Oh, my scissors. A girl can never have too many scissors. I'm going to cut that off. And look. Now this is my helping hand here. Now I'm ready to take this off the ProBow. And when I take it off, it's going to look like this first one I showed you. So, but I can't get it off yet because look, remember I tied it down with this wire. So I actually have two wires. And I just went around the nail once. So I have this wire, I have my helper wire, and I have the wire that I used when I first started making this. Now this is the one that I used first that was wrapped around the finger, is the one I'll use to anchor it, say to a wreath or whatever. And I'm also going to anchor it to something else that I'll show you in just a minute. So this is my helping hand. I'm ready to take this off. All you have to do is doop, doop, doop. There it is. You've got the same thing I showed you earlier. These are your tails. This is one tail. It can go this way. This other tail can come out here with it. You can cut them different ways. You can make one go over here and one go over there. That's really not a problem. The next thing is the fun part. We get to fluff. Now, you can do it in your hand. If you do these by hand, you're used to fluffing in your hand. But another way to do it, and ProBow makes and sells what's called a fluff box. Or she tells you, Regina tells you just, you know, if you just had a block of wood with this is like a little cup holder hook. Now that's really too big. I should have gotten a smaller one. I made my own fluff box. All the fluff box is something with a little weight that will hold your ribbon as you're fluffing. Okay, it has a nail and it has a hook. Can you see the hook there? And like I said, I got too big a hook. What I did to make my own, I just got these two cutting boards. So here's what we do. Take the longest two ends. Those are the ones that you start with in the very beginning. And you want to wrap one around, or just sort of just wrap it around the hook, and then you want this other one to go around the nail. And I should have gotten a longer piece, but it'll work. It'll work. I've done it before. And I just try to wrap that around. And like I said, I should have had a bigger, I need my needle nose pliers is what I need. And they're over there. So anyway, I'll just try these. See if I can get it to turn without cutting it. There we go. I need that. Try not to cut it. Oh, that's good. Okay. I don't know if you can see it, but I probably, this is awfully thick ribbon also, so I would have more left. I could have put my nail up here also, so it's my fault I didn't quite have enough. It works though. So I have it anchored down is really all I've done so far. I've anchored this to my fluff box. This is my fluff box. See, I have my ribbon. And all you're going to do is fluff. Some people start in the middle. Now if you want, I think I'll put one tail over here and one over here for now. You can start with your middle two and just sort of pull them apart. I went this direction, so with these next two, I'll go the other direction with them. And it doesn't really matter. We are strictly fluffing. I do want to make sure though I've got my wire tightly wound around my ribbon, because that's what's going to hold. And then you could even just do like this, just do one side at a time. Pull them out, pull them up, take your fingers and form the loops a little better if you want to. I'm going to turn it around this way and do a little fluffing here. Let's see, I want that one to go that way. It doesn't matter which way they go, they just go all kinds of ways. I love to fluff though. Even after I get it on a project, I'll just fluff and fluff and fluff my bows. So, we have, the fluffing doesn't take that long unless you're just a big fluffer like I am. I just keep wanting to fluff. But just, you know, now let me take it off, and I'll still fluff it probably some more. I like to have it nice and fluffy. And what you can do, though, if you have wired ribbon, which is about all I would ever recommend to use, now I'm going to pull these wires down in the back, and I can hold it by the wires. And like I said, I can still do some more fluffing. I didn't use a center loop. My mother was a florist, and she always put a center loop in hers. And she made some really nice bows, but I just didn't like that little old. Usually the center loop was a little smooth. See that? And you can just cut these off. Let me chevron, what we call chevron. You just, some people call it dovetail. You just, I folded it like this, and it's a V. Some people call it a V cut. Looks like a V, but the point of the V is going to be on the fold of your ribbon. And you just have to think about it, because sometimes you have your ribbon this way, sometimes it's that way. You just have to think about it and say, okay, which one's going to make the chevron? And if you do it the wrong way, instead of a chevron, you get a point. And so as soon as you open it, you'll know you did it wrong. Just cut that off and do it again. It does make it look a little more finished. But that was just a simple bow. And I took a long time on it, just because I wanted to show you. So you can see that if you get used to making these, you can whip these out, make these for people, make them just for yourself. But they just turn out so pretty. I don't know if y'all can see that well enough, but it is, I think it's just beautiful. Okay, let me show you something though. I will do a part 2, and I'll use 2 ribbons. But I have got see this one? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 different kinds. Okay, this is a different kind. You make this on the Pro Bow, but it's called a terry bow, and I will also give you a tutorial on that. A lady named Terry Marshall came up with this kind of bow. But anyway, I don't want to take it any longer. We'll do some more. I'll do one with 2 ribbons next time. But I do want to show you on the Pro Bow that we made next to the smallest bow, and you see how big and full and fluffy it is. You've got 3 more rows that you can make a huge bow. If you go out to this last row, you can make a Christmas tree topper bow that's really pretty. And I've got one made, but it's hanging up here. Maybe I'll get it down and put it in the video. So, I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for joining me for part 1 of the ProBowtheHand tutorial. In this tutorial, we used 1 ribbon to make a beautiful bow. In the next tutorial, part 2, we will be using 2 or more ribbons to make another beautiful bow. Hope you will join me.